It is time for an intro. Don't ask. Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about something because it recently started appearing on the Discord and I kind of want to showcase that in today's video. Oh, you're slipping. I mean, there's nothing on my head. The creators of Tales of Landor, Lumbago Interactive, have announced that they would be making a new channel in the Discord. This channel is called Weekly Dev Updates. The weekly updates is the developers showing the weekly update. I took it upon myself to read out some of these weekly updates. This is going to be a short video, but I'd like to still make it aware to the audience. On the 14th of the 7th, they released a post saying this week's update added JSON loading and saving for in-game assets. Now before I continue, I'd like to tell you that these updates are what is being updated in their engine. Now if you don't know, they are making a custom engine. They're moving away from Godot and they're Godot. Someone told me that it was Godot actually. Anyway, so they told me that they're moving away from Godot and that they are going to start on their own custom engine. And this is what the weekly update is about. It's about how they've progressed in developing the custom engine. So what they mean by adding JSON loading for game assets, they are now able to load assets into their custom engine. I'm just going to assume that they've like run tests 20 times. Prepared our internal self-made map editor to create, load, and save maps. So they have now updated their custom map editor. So now they are able to create, load, and save maps. They also state that they are hopefully going to start recreating Greenwood, which, if you don't know, it's a very small map. On the 22nd of July, they state that they've added base handling for game objects. This means that they can now actually start adding info and adding, data for the objects that they're trying to add into the game, which means they can now add names, PNGs, and possibly animations. Started new UI system, which is the base for our internal tools editor and also for the game itself. So what they mean by this is they're making the UI for the engine. On the 29th of July, they introduced a whole bunch of new features. Now, I'm not really going to go into any of this because from a basic user point of view, it's quite incomprehensive of what any of this means. I will try though. Introduced a comprehensive asset management UI with asset scanning, categorization, filtering, and hierarchical display featuring interactive selection. Introduced a So what I'm thinking they mean by this is that when they're talking about the UI that they created, they're telling us that the UI now is able to scan and sort out all the items that they're putting into the game in a filter and in categories, which is pretty nice and pretty sweet. I wish they would show screenshots eventually. They've also integrated an I'm GUI based user interface support for improved editor workflows. So yeah, they are generally just talking about how much they've improved the AI over time. Added foundational UI elements classes. Added foundational UI element classes, button, margin container, center container, full screen container. See, now those I will not be able to explain. Unfortunately, I'm not in the whole coding genre, so I have no idea what that means. Implemented a new entity system for managing game objects with deferred creation and destruction. So I'm thinking this is also what, I think they refer to more of the game building area when they say that, because that means that they can move objects and destroy in place much easier. Provided centralized application exit functionality. I guess they just meant that they added an exit button for the game. On the 12th of August, they state that they've created an internal toll editor for managing items, blueprints, NPCs, etc. They also state that those things are easily the cornerstone of having a streamlined workflow. So, of course, they're getting closer and closer and sorting out every item in the game so they can start implementing it into the map, which they can show in the screenshot of here, which, in my opinion, this looks really basic, but when you create your own engine, I'm not going to judge. So as you can see, item test, they've added a lot of detail to it. You can see the name, you can see the ID, you can see the path to the JSON file. That's pretty cool. The full path is in, the directory. So there's lore text. So this is practically the coding side of what happens when you find an item in the game. You know, when you see an item, you see the item's name and you see the description. So you're basically only going to see this and this, but for them, they're going to see the ID, they're going to see the path, they're going to see the full path, they're going to see the status of that item, which is very nice. On the 18th of August, they stated that they have connected the dots and are integrating the map editor into our content manager, into their content manager. So over here, in my opinion, it looks like they've implemented world building, because this looks like they're actually planting ground on their map, which is, this looks like Greenwood's textiles, which is interesting. They are building the map, they are rebuilding Greenwood in this photo. That is very nice. On the 24th of August, they said that they are making a terrain system that actually is helping us build the map instead of letting us fix Godot's bugs. I do remember them stating that Godot had a lot of limitations, so the fact that they created an engine that surpasses those limitations makes making the world and the map and building all that terrain so much easier. On the 1st of September, they say that for some more weeks you will see pretty technical screenshots. Those other ones weren't technical. Currently, I am working on the animation system. So here they introduced the animation system, which will combine pixel art and skeletal animations. If you don't know, Tales of Landor used to use a very pixel animation system, but now they've actually moved to smoother skeletal animations, which they actually showed us in a very... they showed us this when they were busy editing Alpha 6, but over here they show us how they're doing it in their engine, which is pretty basic. You have your skeleton, and then the animation, you just connect your pixel art to this animation, and then the sticks will move the art in like a keyframe. So this is pretty cool. I'm guessing this is, yeah, you press play and then it will show you the animation. This looks like a bat, in my opinion. It says left wing. Yeah, this is definitely an entity that flies. This is a video of what we just saw in the previous picture, and this is what they're showing us. They're showing us the keyframe of how the animations move. So I'm just gonna show you guys. So yeah, that looks really basic in my opinion, but of course they're showing us how you can move an entity and a PNG one to one. But they're showing us the animation and how they, of course, are doing it. You can set a region, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's all keyframes, so you can say from this to this, and you can change it. Okay. Over here, they say, on the 26th of August, they say porting the netcode to the new game. Now, this is very important, because Tales of Landor was possibly going to be wiped again, but they did promise us a long time ago that they weren't going to wipe anything. So they say, they have assured us, though, that the netcode from the previous engine was able to be transferred to their custom engine, and they show us here where they say porting the netcode to the new engine. I'm actually generally so proud of the developers of this, you know, engine and stuff. So the latest post they've posted was the 1st of October, and they state here that better armor defense calculations are incoming. They state that different damage types will have different armor curves, also different kinds of magic sources, like, oh, so obviously it'll be magic damage and physical damage is what they're saying. Yeah, there hasn't been a lot since the weekly updates came out, but it has been coming out weekly, which I'm pretty proud of Hellroth for, you know, putting dedication towards this, and it gives us hope that one day the game will be in active development. And with that, guys, thank you guys for watching this very short video. I will see you in the game.